Do you smell that? Do you smell death? You would be like, who died? Why you showing me a death of mainstream? Why is this guy in particular talking about death of culture? What's going on? And why is this video about goddamn Linux? That seems completely incompatible. It kind of is. But since I'm the master of transitions, I will be able to do just that. Link two unlinkable subjects together, and at the same time explain why I hate Linux because of all this death going around. Where does the death come from? One of the easiest links you can make between Linux and the death of mainstream and culture is obviously greed. The other thing, beyond greed, is the ooh shiny. Oh, look at this recommended shiny thing. I have to look at it, even if it has no cultural significance to the platform. This is what's going on, especially to Microsoft. So we're abandoning decades worth of building and dominance in order to do something that's not popular. We don't want AI. AI is dangerous, and that has to be acknowledged. That the danger's starting to outweigh the benefits. And the reputation of AI is constantly sinking because it's increasing electricity cost and the RAM prices are going up. And God knows what else AI will be able to use before it starts providing jobs to people. Granted, even YouTube itself is dying. And you must understand what it's all coming from. It's all culminating with capitalism. That's where all these things coming from. The greed and shiny things to manipulate you, to try and buy you something out of your pocket. Try to manipulate you to click on this thing and that thing. In the end, that's the game. The maximizing profits is everyone's game. And a lot of people feel completely, perhaps abandoned or defeated by people who are just very busy making money, right? Making high quality slop. High quality slop. Maybe that's what Microsoft ended up doing. It's the cutting edge. The AI is cutting edge, but now they're getting cut by the cutting edge. They're getting destroyed potentially. They're entered a territory where nobody knows what the fuck is going on. It's like trying to tame a YouTube algorithm, but you have no idea what's happening. Luckily, YouTube has not broken down. Even Twitter has not broken down after acquisition. But what's happening here? Right? What the fuck just happened? Why is Windows 11 the most untouchable, unobtainable thing for me? Right? And why it has like the worst reputation of any creature that ever existed. To the point where we give Linux the reputation it does not really deserve. Okay? I have spent 4 days just to get a big headache. I didn't spend a long time. And if you want all the nitty gritty, and yes, it's Linux Mint, everyone's using that, because literally the first thing I did was follow the recommendation and install Fedora into the USB, right? And guess what happens next? Well, this one. Who knows why? We'll never fucking know. Mint works while this one didn't work. I flipped a few more burgers just to realize that neither installation is gonna work and I have to try something, you know, that is more likely to work. So Mint did work. And the switch began. Before we dive into the story, I have to finish the, death of mainstream bullshit, because, death should not mean vortex. Should not mean you have to change your life, have to move out of the country, by any means necessary. Unless you live in UK, you have to. All right? Get out of here. UK is a stinker now. I can totally understand you traveling. You can afford it as well. You'll be fine. But transitioning from Windows into Linux is just another forced thing. Both are forced things. Windows 11 is forced, and Linux is kind of forced. There's not a lot of options. So, the best thing to do is say, fuck you guys, I'm buying a Mac. I'm buying whatever the fuck I can get my hands on. That's the contrarian option, basically. Right? So, I probably will buy a new computer, and that's how you do it. Before you dive into Linux, if you're still contemplating about changing, if you're scared of Microsoft updates and AI, there's technically an option, right? First of all, back up your data. I mean, that's the first. If you're staying on Windows in any kind of capacity, now you have to really care about the health of your computer and not clicking shady links. Wait, I see something. Shady links. What the Vortex in general has a tutorial. It's known as smooth transitioning. That's right. If you want to change your life, you have to slowly transition from the thing that you potentially hate into the thing that you potentially love. And you have to understand that there's the honeymoon phase where you feel like you 100% switched, but you actually haven't. Because it's a long-term thing. It's like a monthly, seasonal thing. Like, how many days did you spend on this thing? How many days did you spend doing that? And yet, Linux is being promoted as like one-and-done operation. You switch and you never go back. And it's like, everyone's happy. Now, what's going on right now? It's basically protest. Protest, right? But again, participating in a protest, you gotta be smarter than that. Usually protest is not actually meaningful, generally speaking, right? And switching to Linux, you can wait. You can also extend the Windows 10 security updates, whatever, right? You can do that. You can ask me what I will do, and my answer is none of your business. I literally no longer can disclose what I'm doing. That information is unfortunately becoming more and more unacceptable. So for the first time, as honest as I am, I honestly cannot tell you too much information right now about my specific choice. I can only tell you guys what to do in situations like this, and what was my story about Linux, and what was the frustration, basically. But yeah, just a reminder, greed and shiny things are destroying what we thought we knew as indestructible, the most stable structures in life. They're destroyed by AI and by the fact that you're supposed to be able to do AI. Otherwise, your computer is not compatible. And it's like, what the fuck? Not compatible to have an operating system anymore? That makes no fucking sense, to be honest. You know, shiny greed. It does combine itself into a monstrosity in order to kill a corporation that has been doing great. Remember another thing? You should watch one of these videos. You have to watch this. You gotta watch this if you want more death and failure. Because let's get into this. Let's get into it. These are the list of failures, and let's just quickly analyze in the context of capitalism breaks things. And it's not like the culture has died, right? The culture has failed to exist. No one really intentionally killed the culture just failed. Perhaps it was outcompeted, but still, I mean, everyone is competing for like space on the internet. It gets a little complicated, isn't it? All right, so here's how capitalism failed. Remember TanaCon, by the way? Remember Jake Paul recently getting knocked in the jaw? That's capitalism. That's people desperate for money in whatever fucking manic ways they want the money. They just come up with the stupidest shit ever. Similar to Vitaly experience, but Vitaly potentially is just completely deranged, bored individual. So he's trying to sell whatever the fuck comes out of his ass. H3 already has enough money, so he just sits on his ass and kind of just lowballs his career. Becoming a streamer is the lowest ball you can possibly reach. Same with Smosh. They're lowballing their career. Same with Markiplier. They have established themselves to a certain degree, and now they're just kind of slip and sliding down the drain, basically, into complete obscurity is not even a good word. Who the fuck knows what happened to Sunny Wee, by the way? What the fuck was that? They slip into absolute decay, basically. Some even, like, give up their careers like MatPat, where it just makes no sense. Why would you do that? It's not a good time. Some are trying to milk the fucking cow of Dragon Ball. It's like, look at this new hair color. It's the next Super Saiyan thing, guys. I swear. To me, Hytale got such a hardcore hit into the face, into its reputation, but most importantly, like, Riot Games actually don't understand what capitalism is, apparently. They can't fucking release the game when it's supposed to be released, right? They're not calculating something, miscalculating. So miserable to see this. It's unbelievable. When all of the Hytale was basically hidden from everyone else. Something is already being mishandled, and obviously Windows 11 is on the list, right? But like, there's time and time, and Linux is also on the list because I fucking hate it. All right, time and time there's examples very closely linked to capitalism. Again, MatPat created a company that runs itself, and it's like, well, I guess I am not needed in the company. It's like, are you stupid? Are you okay? You're the face of the company. You're supposed to be on every thumbnail. You're supposed to show up like a fucking copium clown for little children to feel good about themselves. Of like, wow, that's my daddy right there. Jaxfilms also pursued Sniper Wolf because of money. Because he was like, you know, envious. But he was not envious correctly. It was not justified. You have to justify your envy. If it's envy, right? But it's wonderful example of someone trying to be envious, but ending up just kind of cranking his own wallets with money from someone else's reputation, and everyone's just cheering up. Everyone's cheering up on the death of this, machine. Whatever they see in front of them, they just want it to burn. Because that's shiny. Fire is shiny. Everything has to burn. And the recent addition is Mr. Beast. He doesn't care. Alright? He doesn't care about culture one fucking bit. Unless it's popular, then he's gonna, like, have it. Let me have that. Very popular thing. But culture is, like, he's gonna grab from, like, a TV culture. He's gonna grab from, like, legacy culture. Or just grab a bunch of popular guys and drag them into his videos to promote something potentially. Like, bro is thinking in 6 dimensions of how many ways he can take advantage of the system, you know, but that fundamentally means no culture. Everything is selfish, right? Everything is about him. So obviously some people will feel the need to protest, but Windows 11 was here first. All right, first and foremost, we started with Windows. If there was like another platform like YouTube, some people will also feel an urge to protest because we can do better on that other platform. And trust me, guys, that can happen. YouTube is not really out of shape right now, but anything can happen. Protest does feel like switching platforms, switching and moving to different community, basically. And if you feel that community has died, it's probably a good idea to consider switching. But again, I told you guys, there has to be a smooth transition. You have to buy another PC. Buy another PC. You get it now, right? That's the only way to do it. And I mean, with other transitions, like if you're transitioning to a different website, you don't need another PC. But you're transitioning between operating systems. You have to have both at the same time, accessible at the same time to see what happens. Which one breaks first? Which one makes you upset the most of the time? Right? You have to have both. During transitions, you have to have both items at the same time. It's supposed to be obvious. You're not supposed to jump from one thing to the other and say, Hallelujah, and just forget about it, right? You have been convinced, and that's it. That's the wrong way to do it. And if you can't have both things at the same time, well, it's time to hold your breath and let everything around you get into a war zone, trying to compel one side to the other and vice versa, and they're just going to keep yapping about their thing, and you're just going to sit there and read your book, basically. You're not going to give a fuck, basically. You're going to hold your breath like whatever happens, happens. So even though it doesn't look like it, capitalism still ruined Microsoft in the very end, which is fucked up, man. And obviously they monetized the shit out of Windows 11 as well. This is like the end game, let's call it switch, the end game switch. When you can actually sell your dominance and interrupt people's safety. I mean, it's the most obvious thing is Russia, right? They made the end game switch to the point where Russia might not exist anymore. Very soon, it might be divided into tiny pieces. They can't possibly have a dictator for too long, so they have to assume that they never had a dictator. They just had smaller pieces of Russia operating on their own terms, basically. Like, they have done it. They have entered the end game switch. And this is where the greed overwhelming, basically, the system. When greed is overwhelming. Oh, and you can't protest because you go to jail. You can only run. Can only run. But if you stayed in Russia, though, is that possible? Maybe. Russia is a vast wilderness, basically. There's probably safe spots all over that place, right? So you don't have to actually escape the country just yet. Even the UK, I'm pretty sure it has safe spots. You can look at this as like, across the world, something is happening. The greed is overwhelming the system more often than ever before. And potentially, it's also understanding that something else is ending. Maybe capitalism as a whole is ending. You know, capitalism as a whole is switching the endgame status for itself. Imagine that. Do you need all this context to switch into Linux? No, I thought it's very interesting. Very interesting, it's very educational. Education should not be dismissed. I love it so much. I love it more than anything else. I think education is is the thing that should guide you more than certain decisions, right? Certain just like, give me an answer to what I have to do. No. The answer is education, all right? The answer is doing the right thing most of the time. So the greed was overwhelming. We're protesting. We're moving to Linux. That's the whole context. All right? Those are the pieces. For me, it is just like, I just want to use like YouTube. I want to be a humble man, not steer away from like my safe spot. It worked flawlessly up to this point. I'm not clicking on anything except on my tablet, which does not have Windows in it. So you can already secure more things by moving stupid shit into your bed. All right, that's the second thing I can give advice on, basically. Move the stupid shit into your bed. You have your tablet, you can do whatever the fuck you want there. It's going to be more safe than whether you switch to Linux or stay on Windows. It's going to be more safe that you start thinking about, security in that sense. For me, it happened naturally. I have a stand-up PC. I cannot possibly be on a PC. Especially when I'm doing nasty shit. Okay? Where you're doing the shady things and you're clicking on links all over the place. You're going all over the place for that shady shit. And lucky for me, I have it all separated, figured it out. Alright, it's as clean as you can get. By accident. Alright? It split itself off so nicely because it belonged somewhere else with a whole different device, not my PC. My workstation doesn't have to operate stupid shit anymore. Alright? And I must not worry about it. Except with the exception of I operate it anyways. Wow. That's right. I operated my operating system on top of everyone else's. It works in Linux. It works in Windows. Fuck yeah, bro. It's called Unity. Fuck yeah. That's my operating system right there. And it, as stupid as it sounds, it works. It just works. I have my operating system. You can see it with the damn floating things. It's like, you don't have that. Only I have it. It's mine. Yes, it works in Linux. I can repeat the same sentence. You might be in disbelief, but Unity is compatible with Linux as well. It's technically compatible with Mac as well, which is fucking ridiculous, dude. Now, it's not truly compatible when it comes to all the features. I have not ported them all, but maybe soon enough. Someone requests me, like, people want the Linux stuff, and they might want my thing as well, especially when I make the engine. Oh my god. The engine, the rendering engine. Then people will want me and treat me somehow like the weirdest add-on that's ever existed. Alright? They will be kind of perplexed. It's like, bro has its own games. What are you talking about? It is its own operating system. What is this game called? It doesn't have a cool name, okay? It doesn't have a cool name. It's just match 2. Without switching them, the colors. Yeah. Cool. And there's obviously like 5 more games like that, so there's like Match X. Right? My operating system. Beautiful. Look at that, and it's only gonna keep getting better. And more games. New year, more games. I decided. That's right. My life is beautiful. And I have to avoid Linux because it's fucking ugly, unfortunately. So let's talk about it. You have your PC, you have your ugly shit in your bed, because I don't think Linux is necessarily safe. potentially in order to achieve safety, they have to kill the anti-cheat systems, and they have to make sure that you type on the fucking keyboard your pseudo commands. Otherwise, it don't work like that. Alright, you always have to consent to everything. The best place for me to go to talk about Linux, and I bring back the YouTube culture whale, basically, Mr. PewDiePie. PewDiePie guy switched to Linux, and he's happy, but we must understand his personality, and his personality might not be compatible with yours. He might like things you can't stand. And unfortunately, I got the other end of the stick. I thought I will transition to Linux. It's going to be a smooth transition, but there's a catch. Most importantly, transition, there's a violent transition, right, you can make, where you sacrificed a lot of things. So that's the first thing PewDiePie does that you probably cannot do, is sacrifice many, many things. Yes, Linux feels like it's compatible with everything, but at the same time, you have to do extra work, and sometimes it's still gonna break, right? Sacrifice many things. That's what PewDiePie can do, but you might not be able to do. Don't do violent transitions. PewDiePie is a rich guy. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, he's gonna make violent transitions. He don't care. He has everything already, right? So you must get rid of that fucking violent piece, and you have to buy another PC, unfortunately. Alright. So where's the Linux thing? And so should you. Well, if that's the recommendation, I did install Linux. It's there. Yeah, truly.
You're this blob from I Have No Mouth.
Pretty bad introduction to whatever the fuck is going on, is it?
Don't worry. I can save you.
He looks like a drunk person trying to save you.
Installing. Let me start this off by saying I am not a tech guy.
Here you go. Which is why we have to watch another video after that. Before I dive into just extra content from other creators, I have to tell my story, right? It's a 4-day story, and during winter. Alright? Maybe when you're watching, it's not winter anymore. But this cold weather makes me less productive. And it gets even worse when my operating system makes me feel like shit. Then I just I'm just gonna go to sleep now. I guess I can't handle this. Oh fuck. There's so many rage quit moments that happened, and who would have thought how it would continue? It potentially would continue raging me, basically. And then something mysterious also happened where I lost one texture. One of the main textures for my game. And I was pretty scared of what the fuck Linux did to me, but then I found it. It was truly deleted. And I was trying to even fix it inside Linux of what's going on to my game? It seems like textures were missing. You can imagine you can run Minecraft, but if you have no textures at all, the game might not even render anything at all. That's what happened to me. The game might not recognize that it's a problem that textures are missing. And it's just well, yeah, I have nothing to render. Everything's fine. No, I'm not looking at the sky. It's generally not rendering anything. So if I go up this list, this is where we at. This is what Linux did to me. It made me force render my stuff. Okay, until I found my texture pack. And I'm like, oh my god, we're back, we're so back. It scared me, okay? So, I was talking about Linux transition, I think it was like day 2 already. And I was like, not recommending any of these days. Like, these experiences are terrible. These transition experiences. But that's what it is. Like, you want a new system to support whatever you were up to. And that's just not how it works. Alright, so you have to adopt a new system on the side. On the side, you might be using Linux sometimes to do some things, basically, and see how it goes. The funny thing is, it might be very funny to you, but I don't really have space for a second computer in my fucking room, okay? I can only maybe buy a laptop. Or I kind of have a laptop, maybe I can fix it. Maybe I can fix him. No, it doesn't charge. The laptop doesn't fucking charge. But yeah, maybe you do have something laying around like an old laptop. PewDiePie had an old laptop. You can turn that into a Linux machine and see how it goes. See what's your relationship with the machine. You should force yourself to use it every day, right? Dust your old machine, turn it into Linux, and use it every day. It's a third advice.
Building video. I
don't really care whether he's tech guy or not necessarily. If he does a good job. But it's a little awkward, right? Because he's not relatable as a human being anymore. He's doing his cool thing. Alright, he wants to transition just to remain cool, remain minimized. He's not really sacrificing anything because he's not in the middle of like truly making videos anymore, right? It doesn't matter to him that he's not going to have like access to certain games. He was never a part of a specific game community.
I'm surprised.
But for me, it was very problematic. On Linux, you cannot just click install. That's not how it works. No. In fact, this is the easier version. Typing sudo commands is a lot more complicated because you need to know what the fuck you're doing. You need to know what commands exist. So even though PewDiePie shows in his video of like, hey, I sudo install Firefox, I sudo install Discord, I just have all these things available to me whenever I feel like it. It's very convenient. And it's like, it was convenient. It was convenient all along. What are you talking about? You click install, you Google something and you install it. It was always convenient. There was never a problem, PewDiePie, installing things until Linux showed up. And now there's a problem. Because compatibility problem is huge. In fact, you were not able to use Linux before AI existed. Because AI has to tell you what to do all the time. And it itself cannot understand all of the concepts that Linux fucking throws at you. So here comes the first pitfall, basically. Linux is complicated. It's a pitfall. It's insanity, bro. It's complicated. You would not know how to use it just because you learn how to use Windows. It doesn't hold back on the complexity level. Yes, you might be more capable on Linux. You might have access to more customization. But it will take a long time. And most of the customization is probably going to be completely meaningless. Unless you truly adopt it, right? That's why you have to have the secondary system. You have to adopt it in such a magical way where the customization mesmerizes you and compels you to use the system even more and more and more, and you make a full transition eventually because of those certain features you found in Linux that you couldn't find in Windows. This is where you should start, right? You should start with the features that you want, but you couldn't have it, right? You started with the shiny things, as always. Just how Windows couldn't help itself and destroy themselves upon shiny things. The same goes here. you grab a new Linux system and you try all these shiny things. You go through all the tutorials that show you the shiny things. I didn't do that because, again, I don't have two operating systems. I just tried Linux to see if it makes for a smooth transition when it comes to, like, zero commitment, basically. A zero commitment transition. And it didn't work. So I personally cannot recommend Linux because it didn't work for me, so what can I do? I don't know what sudo means, by the way. It's a whole new word I have to learn. So, oh yeah, I do know what Sudoku means. That's pretty cool. Super user do. Unix-like operating systems. And now Windows. What do you mean? What do you mean, and now Windows? Windows 11 have super users? Alright, whatever. You have your command lines and shit on Windows as well. You can basically treat it as like administrator requests, right? And yes, it does ask for a password. That's an important distinction for like security reasons. It's important to mention this. Every single time you open a terminal, it asks for a password. I think after idle of 10 minutes, it also asks a password if the terminal wasn't used for a certain amount of time. But this password request, mind you, is another thing that you will be doing with your keyboard all the time. Linux is gonna waste your fucking time. I tell you that much. And I bet there's ways around it. I bet there's so much customization, but again, you have to beg the difference of what the normal user is gonna have to suffer through until they get themselves comfortable. Click install is gone, and also I had to learn the hard way that it's with two L's. There's too many L's in the install. Always mistype. Mistype a fucking word. Try again. You didn't click a fucking button. You mistyped a word, and Linux is like, I don't understand. Try that again. I do not understand. I was not looking at you at all. I was looking at my own flat little feet. So cute. No, it's just to install, please. Okay. I get it now. You have these two little feet. Alright. I'll do it. Do you have enough space for the said installation? And this is where things get fucking brutal. The second level of brutality past the installation phase and the password. Technically, this is the second. Alright, you're typing shit all the time and you're being requested additional shit all the time, which is compatibility and passwords. The next thing, the third level of brutality, comes from dedicated drives and just space in general. I mean, space control, I don't know what it is. I'm already panicking, thinking about it. Alright? You have your drives, and you have your partitions, basically. Partition is basically a lesser thing than a drive. A partition is dedicated part of a drive. That's the way I understand it. So guess what I did? I said, Linux, you can have 40 gigabytes. And I lost. Game over. Linux is like, I gobbled up 40 gigabytes. It's over. There's nothing you can do. You lost the game. You will not be able to install a single thing ever. And I tried to negotiate with AI of like, AI, what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, no, this is too complicated. It's over. I dedicated 40 gigabytes to Linux. It ate the 40 gigabytes really fast. I installed like Unity, that's 8 gigabytes. Who knows, man? Install this, install that. Linux itself takes 5 gigabytes maybe. Who knows? I can only delete so many files until I have to give up, you know? And also, like, sending files from one place to the other with a special link system. What the fuck is that? I didn't dedicate enough storage and I lost the game. That's why you also need a new PC, because you can just install Linux without dual booting, basically. This is technically like you dedicate partitions because of dual booting. Normally you dedicate the entire PC to the Linux, but Linux not supposed to touch the Windows stuff just yet, okay? Don't touch it. But even then, I don't know if it works out, because you have different drives as well. You have to communicate between drives. So I don't know. I got cooked on that one. The third brutality, the third strike, is the thing that knocked me out entirely. I couldn't get my little fucking Hearthstone game to work. All right, because it's not just click install and you're good. You have to deal with the compatibility shit, and sometimes you're told to install something through another application entirely, and that just fails. And then what? Your installation failed. But technically it was because of the lack of storage. And then it's just like, I don't know what's going on anymore, to be honest. I literally have no idea. And we gone way back to the good old days where you're trying to install a game, but the game is 100 gigabytes. And it's like, yeah, I can't do that, actually. I can't actually play that game. That's it. That's my whole story. My computer couldn't fucking handle my mistakes, you know? In Linux, mistakes stack. The more mistakes you do, the worse your experience is gonna be. If I, a programmer guy, assisted with AI, still made terrible mistakes, I have no idea how other people can operate Linux without fucking losing their teeth. Okay? So, I think it's justified. After 4 days, I gave up. It's not a smooth transition type of story. It's impossible, and I couldn't get access to a game that, you know, is in the back of my mind of like, I would like to. I would like to play it. Thank you. No? I can't? Oh. No, it's always gonna nag me now. They're playing this new expansion thingy. Oh. And everyone's talking about Hytale. I want to talk about Hytale. Oh. Again, PewDiePie does not have problems like that. He does not have to play a specific game. He does not have to get the latest updates of that particular game. He's a free man to do free shenanigans to his PC, basically. And just be proud that he took full control of his computer, right?
I'm surprised the whole thing hasn't exploded. It's like sitting next to a bomb every day. Yes, I am finally free. I escaped the Windows.
But at what cost, right? He just wanted to look cool. He gets that coolness factor of like even just like, hey, look, I'm drawing anime girls. The coolness factor overwhelming. But at the same time, his personality is now stagnating. He's not actually improving as a YouTuber anymore. He doesn't care. He allows himself to go through failures, even if they happen, for the sake of coolness.
I saw the sun, the shadow.
How could you be a failure when you're drawing anime girls? Because you can't sell that. You cannot upload weekly videos about latest anime girl that you've drawn. Remember? Like, you understand that?
Blinded me for a moment. Linux for as long as this video is, and you're gonna listen.
And you're gonna listen because I'm a cool guy. I'm way better than you. This kind of projection is just not very healthy. This is why, like, yes, I was overwhelmed watching this video. It's like, wow, cool thing, one cool thing after another. But the reality is very different.
A meme. It's kind of become a meme because it's a little difficult to install Arch. So it's
fucking hell, dude. Installation is the difficult part. Like, what the fuck is this? That's literally the first thing you have to avoid, is complexity to do initial task. That's a fourth advice I have to give you guys. Avoid complexity when doing initial tasks. Avoid it. This is why your ADHD brain shuts down. It's trying to save you from bullshit like this. If something doesn't work out, there's a good reason to step aside, walk away. You know, if there's a room of people that don't like you, you don't just sit down and have a cup of tea. You walk away. If girls reject you initially, you walk away from all relationships. Relationships are not the hype nowadays. You did the right thing. You can learn so much from the Linux story. It's amazing to do that more than bitch about how I wasn't able to fulfill my 4-day prophecy of just adopting this system, because I have to work. I have to work on my engine. My engine is everything to me right now. And if something stupid happens, like a missing texture, I have to now figure out what the fuck happened. But the funny thing is, I can probably go back. I fixed the issue. It was the missing texture. I couldn't figure out that that's what it was for a long-ass time. I can go back to Linux if my operating system gets updated to the point where I have the best card game, I have the best Hytale or Minecraft, I have everything I need to sustain myself in this wasteland with the penguins and shit. I need a warm coat to not freeze to death in Antarctica where Linux lives. Alright? So unfortunately, this hiccup is not descriptive of my Linux experience. It's just like, it's something that happened that's cherry on top. You can take away the cherry and throw it in the trash. But you cannot throw away into the trash the pile of turds that the cherry was placed on, right? And you can't eat the cherry either. You have to accept it that something weird fucking happened anyways.
It's all there. It's such a nice workflow and have a more keyboard-centric way of using your computer, especially...
Yeah, there's a lot of appealing things that PewDiePie introduces you to. And yes, I made OBS work very easily. You have your browser, you have your Discord. The basic shit is there, and if you're like basic bitch user, you'll be fine with Linux. And you can adopt the same minimalist mentality of like, yeah, just make sacrifices as long as like, it doesn't matter. Because the world is overwhelming right now, and minimalism can definitely help you tone down all the noise. Which is why you should subscribe to my channel and be minimalist. By subscribing to one channel, you can have all the content that ever fucking existed. Imagine trying to watch 1700 videos. That's impossible. You have content for the rest of your life. And you can even talk to me, so I feed you content directly, all the missing pieces. Thank me later. Ooh, the latest climber was a Markiplier's video. It climbed to the position 18. Very good. Anytime this happens, it has to be culturally significant. It just has to. There has to be some kind of hidden meaning to it.
Don't you understand? The world is your flavor. Look at all these spices. I realized just like on Windows, if my computer is kind of slow, you just kind of deal with it. It's like, oh, okay. Well, what can you do? On Linux, it's like...
There was one issue, unfortunately. You see this button? On Windows, I did not have this issue. But if you remove the button, on Linux, it stutters, it lag spikes, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like loading, unloading memory is a problem? Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me that a specific thing happened in Linux where I was not expecting it to happen. And this lag spike just kind of irritated me on top of everything else. And no, it's not something you can just investigate. It's not something you can fix. You have to deal with it. So unfortunately, whatever the fuck PewDiePie said, goes both ways. Simply because Windows doesn't have this issue. That's it.
Like, fix it.
I think it gets even a lot worse. No? I feel like Linux also introduced some more issues for my engine, and I guess it's because of the resource thing. I don't know, it's so messed up. Like, I have this running, and this didn't spawn. And then it introduced even more errors or something, like... even though my thing was compatible, it still kind of didn't work very well. And that's my most precious thing. My most precious possession was abused by Linux immediately.
Searching on Windows is so annoying. It takes forever. Sometimes it doesn't even find the file, even though you type the name.
I didn't learn how to search necessarily. I just had problems with it. That's it. Because in order to access a file or open a file through a program, you genuinely have to find it. So my solution was to open a terminal through a folder, then manually type in the file name. No more clicking, guys. Manually type in the file name, whatever the fuck janky file name it is, and then you run it. What was I trying to run? This. My engine. Alright? My operating system. And then another thing, unfortunately, happens. Appendage. Alright? Every time you run something significant, there's a terminal appendage attached to it. If you remove the terminal, your app also closes, and you have to juggle these things into the system as well. And it's so fucking frustrating, dude. You run a game, another terminal appendage. I mean, if you run anything through the terminal, that's what's gonna happen. That's the way you have to interpret it. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And I can, by accident, just close the terminals because I closed the wrong one and bam, slam. You can even lose progress on something. I mean, holy shit. Navigating Linux was just not intuitive whatsoever. What a pain point. And obviously I needed like a tutorial of how to do everything. I am an impatient guy, unfortunately. But hey, like naturally I'll gonna get myself in trouble. Naturally I'm not gonna like the trouble. And be reminded that the operating system is not for toddlers. Alright, you have to be fully dedicated. You have to have a lot of excess amount of time and patience, and not something a regular person has, unfortunately. But rightfully so.
Name of it, per file, whatever you want. This is searching all JPEGs on my
Yeah, you're not gonna find it like this,
computer.
are you?
That's a bad example, actually. Ads and all that crap. And do that and install and run each one. Wait for it to install, yada yada. It takes forever. On Linux, you just go sudo apt install. What do we want? We want VLC, Firefox, OBS Studio. Boom. Thank you.
I mean, technically, he is installing 3 things at the same time. But again, they generally have to be supported, and it's probably quite a small list of things. That's a huge universe. Wow. I'm just wrong. One annoying thing, AI was constantly telling me to update and upgrade after every single thing I install and do, basically. So it kind of like gaslights you into thinking that you have to update and upgrade all the time, but it's kind of like a daily thing, not every single time you change something. 60,000 packages available. But even something like this, like you have to find the exact driver you need for NVIDIA. It took a while. I know it generally takes a while, But it's still, you have to type that magical word sometimes. And it's a whole process. So just because magical words exist doesn't mean you know what the fuck to type. Alright? When you do know, it's maybe fast, but it cannot be sold as like the ultimate feature, because it now depends on your skill. I would say it's a lot more convenient if it doesn't require much skill at all. That's kind of where the video actually ends, by the way.
It's over.
So he didn't go deep whatsoever. You can complain about my 4 days experience. Bro just showed how to install things and moved on. I mean, for fuck's sake. For an average user, technically, that's all they need to know? I mean, sure. It's weird. Alright, so I'll search up for some kind of bonus meme.
And some really cool things that I learned. And this might help you switch to Linux. Distributions really didn't matter because I needed to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. And what were not distributions, but desktop environments. And many people, especially when you're new to Linux, choose your Linux distribution based on the look. Use XFCE. I just liked their file manager. So you can actually mix and match different sections of these utilities based on like Wine and other things I was trying to emulate inside of Linux, because Linux...
Yeah, compatibility. I used Wine. I understand what it is now,
like,
guys.
Everything just works over here. They see. But guess what? Joke's on them. We're actually in Linux. They just don't know it. They work, but a lot of times you might need extra modifications. And there's things that happen because almost every game is made for Windows that it's installed a little differently in Linux. So mod support doesn't necessarily work out of the gate, especially not how you know it in Windows. You kind of need a Linux counterpart. Now that's coming along, and it's really seeing massive strides with all the stuff Valve's doing, but it's still not quite as good as it is in Windows, and it's really important. Gone full circle here, and almost 80% of everything's Linux.
I don't know if it's meaningful, but that's the transition he is flexing, right? He slowly just completely flipped everything into Linux. It's a pretty big thing, isn't it? Since he is technically a genuine gamer.
I just launched Steam from there. But there was nothing really I was playing that had to use Windows. Stro hopping at this.
I do feel like over time, Linux is gonna dominate somehow. Although I have a window open, no pun intended, just nothing to do with Windows. Although, it's kind of, yep. I have a window open for a whole new operating system to just pop out of nowhere. It's possible. Right now, when people most excited to have it, to adopt it, new operating system entirely, I mean, it's more than possible. You know, you have AI, you have the power to actually build it from scratch. And yes, we all know Temple OS operating system exists. It's fucking weird. Oh, also bonus pain point is the audio devices, obviously. Shit got a little hectic with that. The worst thing, there's crackling that can be fixed with a command, but just the fact that you start off with crackling YouTube videos is generally just adds more horror elements to Linux. And this is too much. Too fucking much. Also, bonus sentence about death. Bonus insight. 2 genders is not enough. Let's kill the genders by adding way too many more additional genders. Right? That's how things are dying. We're just constantly getting new features, new updates that are not necessary. They're just there to appeal some specific fucking guy, you know?
Linux isn't considered to be a stable version of Linux, but for me, it's incredibly stable. And
For him, it's stable. What does that even mean? That's fucking scary, too.
Windows sometimes does update, and it might break your bootloader, so I highly recommend if you dual boot, 2 hard drives is almost a must. Install Windows first, and then install Linux second, and have them install their own boot partitions on each one of their drives. If you don't know how to do that, or you're worried about it, disconnect one drive when you go to install the other operating system, if you really want to make
sure. Yeah, that doesn't sound very interesting to me.
It'll work great. And
a lot of useless information you need to know. This is breaking news, by the way. Final bonus meme.
I'm still gonna put ads in here.
Microsoft is employing full screen ads.
Implement a feature known as Recall, which periodically takes screenshots of your computer.
Linux desktop market share hit 11.4% globally. That's up from 3.1% just 3 years.
Again, popularity does not tell the full story. People are just scared. And I tell you guys, this is where things get really fucking insane. Very difficult for people. Your fear can tear you apart. Can make you do terrible decisions. You have to consult the AI gods to make the correct decision before you do anything on a computer, unfortunately. AI knows better.
Windows. 87% of new Linux users are Windows refugees.
And UK refugees.
Micware.
The government worldwide is corrupt. And so are the CEOs. They're the government of operating systems, I mean.
They're losing
crazy.
users to forwarding to leaked.
They're the dictators, in other words.
Internal project share by
You can always see the dictatorship not working out very well. Holy shit,
end
man.
of 2026.
You might quickly ask, what about China? China does not have dictatorship, they have education. Education is their dictator, which is like, yeah, makes
Ahead of
sense.
Mac. Ubuntu
Are we being clickbaited right now?
understands the implications. Manufacturers optimize for Linux. Linux becomes main.
Yeah, if people travel into Linux, maybe they will get support packages for their Hunger Games.
Linux for the first time thinking I'd become a 1337 hacker overnight. Instead, I broke my Wi-Fi, nuked my bootloader.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi didn't work. I had to actually manually click the fucking button every single time I rebooted.
And somehow made my volume keys start launching LibreOffice, where the OS works flawlessly, as long as you already know how it works. It's not a learning curve. It's a trap. See,
It's a trap. I really want to title it as like Linux is a trap, and it sort of is. See you guys next time. Don't show this
the
guy.
problem with learning without losing your sanity. Step 1. Go to linuxjourney.com. It's free, no sign-up.
Yeah, you probably have to learn this like a programming language. That's how it is. And I already have one, and I'm already doing very well in it. Good luck. See you guys next time. Linux time.